Hi there, Kit Slice here, talking about how to befriend your burnout. And it turns out that burnout can be your friend. The things that you're feeling when you're burned out, those are important messages. They're trying to tell you something. And so rather than trying to fight the burnout and make it this battle of how do I get rid of it, let's make it easy. Let's befriend your burnout and find some ways to make the symptoms of your burnout work for you. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about how do you do that? The first step is getting to know your burnout. And I know what you're probably thinking, Kit, I want to get as far away from my burnout as I possibly can. Why would I want to get to know it better? Well, the reality is, the truth is that knowing your burnout is the key to healing from it. And there's three reasons why. First of all, burnout takes its sweet time. It's not like you wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm burned out. Like, it's not like a cold where you wake up and you've got a sore throat and a runny nose and you're like, oh, I've got a cold. If burnout was that sudden, we would all be taking better care of ourselves because we'd know it when we're burned out, we'd feel it, and we'd want to be doing something about it. But burnout is really chronic stress from being chronically out of sync with some aspect of yourself or your life. And so because it's chronic, it doesn't announce itself. The stress builds over time, and you can be under chronic stress and not get burned out, or that stress might build and build and build, and it results in burnout. So the threshold also of when you actually get burned out is kind of fuzzy. So burnout takes its sweet time. You're not going to know exactly when you're burned out unless you know what you're looking for. So that's one reason why you really want to get to know your burnout specifically. And then secondly, when you know that you're burned out, you can do something about it. You know, these are the smoke signals telling you to send in some rescue resources. So you may not always have the energy to go on that rescue mission when you see those smoke signals. That's okay. You'll have the opportunity to, if you can say, oh, there's a fire over there. What are we going to do about it? So as an example, if one of your signs of burnout is that you start procrastinating a lot, or maybe you start eating a tons of junk food, or you get really short with people, all of these can just, rather than being bad things that you're saying, oh my gosh, here I go again, I'm so horrible, I'm eating, I'm procrastinating, I'm doing all these things, rather than being negative towards yourself, you can say, oh, look, here I have an opportunity to stop and ask myself, am I getting burned out? Are there things I need to be doing for myself? If you're not feeling equipped to go on a full-on rescue mission for yourself, you can at least take a pause in that moment and give yourself some grace, take a few deep breaths. Even small pauses like these can help your nervous system combat that chronic stress. And the third thing about getting to know your burnout is that just by acknowledging that you're burned out, just by doing that, you are starting the healing process. When we're burned out, we typically feel things like difficult, quote unquote, difficult emotions like sadness, anger, frustration, things like that. The cool thing about these emotions is that they are trying to tell you something, like we said in the beginning. It's like a toddler having a temper tantrum in the middle of the candy aisle at the grocery store. Mom, Dad, I want this candy. Just like that, they may make us want to stick our head in a hole and block out all the noise. But unlike that toddler with a temper tantrum, if you ignore your difficult, loud emotions, they will almost certainly get louder. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they will announce themselves with a vengeance. Why is that? Well, the answer has a lot to do with the way your brain works. The part of your brain that is mostly responsible for these emotions, the amygdala, doesn't like it when you don't listen to it. In fact, brain imaging studies show us that when folks ignore these emotions, the amygdala lights up even more. So that anger, fear, frustration, they're all going to get louder. When you simply acknowledge the emotion, however, another part of our brain, the anterior cingulate cortex, signals our prefrontal cortex. That's a part of our brain that makes us human and regulates things like self-control, planning, and other executive functioning. Okay, by doing this, the prefrontal cortex can communicate with the amygdala. The amygdala feels heard, understood, and stops having a total meltdown in the grocery store aisle, okay? You don't even need to do anything with that emotion. Just notice that you're feeling a certain way. Say something like, I'm noticing that I'm feeling angry, or fill in whatever that blank is for you. In this way, you can acknowledge the feeling without the risk of feeling like that feeling is taking over you completely and it's gonna like ruin your day or, derail you completely. So it's kind of cool. You don't even have to do anything. You just say this thing, you notice it for about 60 to 90 seconds is all it really takes. So hopefully you're feeling empowered to befriend and get to know your burnout a little bit. It's a perfect start for anyone who's in a high pressure career and who tends to put high pressure on themselves and is feeling like that burnout is creeping up. I hope this helped you today. If you like this, send me a message, drop a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Bye now.